My name is Dr. Jane Goldberg. Welcome to my show, Musings from 20th Street. I am a psychoanalyst in New York City, and I own La Casa Day Spa on East 20th Street, which was the first holistic day spa in Manhattan. So today is session 21 in my Really Real Reality group therapy show. And in our last session, we were talking about depression. We ended the show talking about depression. Theory about what causes depression, at least on a psychological level. There may be other components. It may be in part genetic. I think they actually did isolate the gene for maybe biochemical. But in terms of the psychology of depression, my theory is that it's aggression turned against the self. And we were talking to Molly at the end of the last session, and in fact, she did say that when she gets depressed, it's because she has high expectations of herself and she falls short of her expectations. And that sounds kind of suspiciously like aggression turned against the self, turned against the psyche. And the psyche certainly is part of the self. So I thought we would open today's show by referring to this theory of regression and looking at it in terms of how each of us function. My theory about Barbara's twittering, what I have called twittering, is that it actually is a way of her preventing herself from getting depressed. And we probably could look at all of the various people in the group and think about how each of them either get depressed or don't get depressed, and how they get themselves to feel depression or get themselves to not feel depression. So that's what I want to say. Do you want to?
Fascinated by is that, okay, if it is aggression turned into myself, how do you...
Well, I did say against, and I think that the preposition is important.
Okay.
Because against is an active assault. Into doesn't suggest the real engagement of the violence of it.
So how do you resolve that?
I can answer that.
Yes, I'm fascinated.
Well, because I'm a psychoanalyst, I believe that the answer is through psychoanalysis, but I can actually also tell you what the kind of operation is that has to happen in the psychoanalytic treatment that resolves depression. Yeah. So the energy has to be redirected. Instead of the energy going against your psyche and against your mind and kind of festering in there and being destructive to you, that culminates in this experience that you're calling depression. That energy can be tapped, it can be accessed, and it can be redirected. And unfortunately or fortunately for the psychoanalyst, the analyst has to call the aggression toward herself. So the antidote to your depression is aggression against me.
So how do you, so what you're saying is that if you can provoke me into being aggressive, because I actually express my aggressions pretty readily. It's not like I'm suppressing, if somebody comes at me in a hostile way, I don't just, don't back down. But that's not really the issue.
Well, I wouldn't provoke you because I don't really believe in tampering with the process of a relationship. But we analysts that have studied this phenomenon for 100 years now, we do find that the process of analysis, that coming to me and telling me all of your thoughts and feelings and developing the relationship with me, that eventually, just as human beings, we have love and we have hate and we have peacefulness and we have agitation. We have yin and yang. We have all of everything. In the psychoanalytic relationship, you also come to experience good feelings. You feel loved. You feel hated. You feel loving. You feel hating. And it is your task as the analysand, as the patient, to verbalize all that. And so I don't have to provoke you. It just happens. It happens that my patients come to love me and come to hate me. But the difficulty in the process is that they want to hide. Most of them want to hide. Some of them are, pretty out there and they scare me. But
I guess I feel like I'm almost savvy enough to not fall for any, you know what I mean? Like, it would take me a lot for you to get to the point where you could.
Oh, I don't think so. Again,
Really?
I'm not going to try to stimulate it. I'm just going to be me.
Okay.
But when when human beings get to know other human beings, negative feelings come up.
Sure.
It's just inevitable. So you stay with me long enough, you'll start feeling angry at me about something or other.
Right, that's for sure.
But then I wouldn't direct it at you, per se.
I hope you wouldn't direct it at me, but I hope that you would allow yourself to experience it and to be able to put it into words what you're feeling.
So that's all I got to do is when the anger
Yes.
comes up,
Yes.
then I just
You have to
tell you about it.
identify, assuming that it's a defensive maneuver and that you're feeling you're turning the aggression against yourself in order to protect the person in your
Right.
object field. As the patient that I talked about that had the schizophrenic sister, the whole family was protecting the schizophrenic sister by not feeling angry at her. He, my patient, most of all, he was really seriously depressed when he came. He was so repressed and say any negative feelings about his parents because he felt they were so beleaguered by the schizophrenic sister. In the meantime, he gave me a run for my money because he was attacking me and criticizing me nonstop.
How long?
I know how that feels.
How long did that take?
It took a few years to resolve. I'm sorry to say.
But at least
It did get resolved.
Yeah.
And he left a bad marriage and he fell in love and he got into a good marriage and had a kid and yeah.
Molly, what if you got mad at Jane and shouted at her?
No, I don't want
There's
anyone
more to
shouting
that.
at me.
That's just discharging as far as I can
Yes,
tell.
you're right, Molly. It is. And I
Not
really
only discharging, it's also feeling.
No, not really.
Oh, yes. Oh.
Everybody wants
Well,
a con.
Anyway.
Yeah, Walter, I'm going to make a theoretical correction, and I know you're going to disagree with me, but it is okay, but I want to make it anyway. To discharge is bypassing consciousness. What makes an experience conscious is what it is, I've said it in the past, what it is that we humans do uniquely, and that is language. To make something really conscious, it has to be processed through language. And language can be artistic expression and it can be musical expression because I know you care about that stuff. But to just blow it out of your mouth is not the same as processing it and integrating it into your being. So please don't yell at me because
No, of course not.
I'll
but-
take
A
offense.
word coming out in anger is feeling it, and I'm not saying it's the entirety of the process
It's
either.
discharging it. It doesn't lead to psychic.
And it's part of the process. It's not the entire process.
But wait,
It's not
That's
the
my
end.
view.
Let's go to the end. Let's go to integration.
Can
we go for gold? Integration.
Can I add
I
one
told
thing
you
to
that's
that?
part
Because,
of my view. That's it.
but Walter, this
I mean, it's part of my
actually
view.
addresses what you're talking about. There's another step that I feel that goes along with this, and I can tell you're not listening to me, but that's okay.
Another step.
Is that apart from just what Jane is saying in analysis, is that you put it into verbal expression. If you don't take those feelings and feel them within your system and just yell them out, you're basically bypassing the whole process.
There's no other way that I can do it. But
Yes, there is.
have both happen at the same time. Because when I'm really angry at somebody for something and it's not acceptable for me to shush it,
You don't have
I
to
am
shush it.
feeling it inside and outside. The experience is one, and I am feeling it fully and expressing it, and it's intense.
It's overwhelming. But the thing is that you can feel it without expressing it. It's just you won't. It's a willful choice.
So back
No,
to,
no.
Yes,
back
it
to
is.
what
Some
I said, we can
situations
control our
are
feelings,
like
right?
that, but some situations are not like that. That's been my experience as well as my
If
view.
somebody
There are
told
some
you-
situations where I can feel quietly and it's intense.
It's not
but some
quiet- it's not that
situations,
you have to
if
feel it
I can't
quietly.
vocalize, then I diminish my capacity to feel it internally.
Well, It may seem that way.
It is that way.
He
It
can't
happens that
know.
way.
He only knows what he does. He can't know
I've
that
done it enough.
taking another avenue would lead to another experience.
I've done it enough, and I've led the repressed life.
I'm
of
not asking you
shushing
to.
it too,
I'm not
and
asking you
feeling
to
it partly.
repress anything. It's not about repressing.
I'm not saying.
You're confusing
oh, yes,
repressing
yes. Okay.
and not expressing.
Okay, I am saying that.
Well,
I'm
actually,
hearing
he's
a measure
confusing
of
repression
in what you're
and
saying.
not discharge.
Well, I'm just saying that you think that if you don't express it verbally, that you're repressing it, and that's
Not in every case. Some feeling experiences need the vocalization.
Well, part of the definition of what it means to be healthy is that you know everything that's happening with you and that you know everything that's happening around you. So I know what I'm feeling and I know what you're feeling, and I try to key into when I'm talking to you what response you're having to what I'm saying, so that you're aware of everything. Remember, we talked about the myth of Narcissus, and he just got so immersed in his own being that he forgot everything around him. So I think the point that you're making is that he may, he makes a choice to be in his own self fully, he claims, and decides to eliminate the awareness of what effect it's having on you. Damned if I am annihilating you through my screaming at you. So I think that's your objection.
no. I actually.
I don't eliminate the awareness.
Well, you're eliminating
Maybe
the person
momentarily
if
I
you're,
do.
if you're
No,
yes,
I-
for that
I-
moment.
At times.
For that moment. The moment of discharge, you are eliminating, you're annihilating the other person by being only in discharge mode.
Some of the time, not all of the
No,
time.
actually, I'm talking about something different.
Tell me.
I think that it's not as effective in the overall process of myself, right? Like if there was nobody else in the room and I just screamed, it would not be as effective if I just sat and just really felt it into the core. Like the Buddhists say, you go down to the seed and you burn the seed. And the way to get there is through anger sometimes. And so through the aggressive feeling, if you can take it and burn it, that feeling down to the core, then it goes away.
I agree with you that it is better for you, but it is also true that it is better for the people around, for the world around.
But what I'm saying is that it's not a question of who else is in the room or not. I'm talking about it's really a very powerful experience to sit there and really feel these very powerful feelings that seem like they're overwhelming, and to the point where you just want to be shot.
Yeah.
You know.
Can everyone in the group compliment Barbara on how well she's doing?
She's amazing. But I want to ask you, Dr. Belter, and when you do talk about Barbara, and are you aware that it really hurts her feelings?
I certainly am aware that it is not a pleasant experience to hear how you're functioning be addressed and
Right.
be told that
That's
it
for
is
everybody, I think,
negative. Yeah.
I think that would be for everybody, not just
But I think
Barbara.
it would be really great if she feels hurt, that she put that into words
Right.
instead of the chatter.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I
she ends
noticed
up-
that Dee and Barbara have this kind of kismet going where he wants
Mm-hmm.
to be her kind of knight in shining armor and save her from everything or all criticism and everything like that.
I don't know
But,
if that's the case,
um,
but
That's how it comes across.
it's fine with me. Okay. Yeah.
No, because you know what? It's nice
Oh, that's negative.
for one moment in 3 hours
Yeah, but it's
to hear
indiscriminate,
something
you know?
positive. And maybe
Right,
I
right.
want
Might be
to
yours if you
I
need
trust
it.
you, I know, I trust you a lot.
Hey, Barbara, excuse me. What about me? Did I just encourage the whole group to compliment you?
Well,
What
but-
happened to that?
No, I know that, but
Yeah, okay.
Dee would- but-
Can you say something to me? Wow, Jane, you complimented me,
Well, yeah.
and you got
Well,
the whole
maybe I'm not
group.
used to
You got the whole
hearing
group
it.
to
I'm not
compliment me.
used to
Thank you,
hearing it.
Jane.
Well, not the whole group. I
Yeah.
heard it from really Dee more than
So
anything
to
else.
conjure up the presence of a past ghost, you know, Lana used to say to you, you don't apparently see what comes to you that's good, and that was
I don't see what's good because I'm not used to good. I'm used to like, what Dee, oh, no, wait, I think Molly, not Dee. Molly, actually, it's really weird. You're very astute, but I mean, when you're constantly berated and degraded and humiliated, and it sounds like a poem, but that's my entire life up until 54. So when I do
So
get a compliment or
Clean
something,
slate.
well, it's not that easy.
You're doing great, but I still don't want you to monopolize the group. So
And I'm sorry
you're,
for
you're doing
it's happening
perfect, Barbara.
That's okay.
So
I'm sorry.
who should we be talking to now?
I know.
Does anybody over here want to comment on Molly's theory about depression?
I don't believe in depression. I think it's a selfish act. And we live in paradise. It's a beautiful world. And if I'm feeling low energy or sad or not getting with all the programs that I want to get going and behind schedule and not getting the work or whatever, I find sustenance in nature, sun, or touching a tree, and revitalizing myself with the fact that the earth is working, the universe is working, God is working, and everything's okay. And all this stuff I have that's bogging me down, it's really my own stuff. And I have to get out of it. So I don't give myself permission to be depressed.
Okay, so that
doesn't
apparently
sound very
resonates with Kay,
Yeah.
but it does
absolutely.
not resonate with Dee, and it does not resonate with Barbara at
I'm
all.
pissed right now.
Because,
I'm so pissed right now. You have no
I
idea.
think maybe from what I used to experience that kind of depression, and no, probably not to the level you're talking about. But for me, when you talk about appreciating the universe of prayer, when I started to pray and feel a part of something greater than myself, faithful community of people that were greater than myself, that I think if you don't have that faith component, terrible things can happen. And I think depression can be worsened with these kind of illnesses without faith.
I have a lot of faith, and I was brought up as a Christian. I've been reading the world religions since I was like 10 years
I'm
old.
not talking about learning, I'm talking about
I'm talking
faith.
about faith, feeling. I can't, and I've been meditating like for the past 10 years seriously, and I have a lot of faith in God. I just don't have a lot of faith in myself.
That's
There you
right.
go.
That's
Yeah, but
right.
God wouldn't put you here if he didn't have faith in you.
Well,
It's just so
So,
easy to say.
I'm just saying that, to think that
No, I'm talking about, Molly, you know what I mean? I think would just help me here define what you mean by faith and what I mean by faith. What I mean by faith is being part of some kind of religious organization. Be some kind of community, some kind of congregation. Attending at least once or twice.
I
a week,
went back to back on
study.
Epiphany to St. Thomas and St. Patrick's.
Right.
So I mean, it's like I go to church all the time. It's not a question of attending church.
Yeah, but do you
for me.
feel that there's
I
a God?
feel there's a God. I just am not always. One of my frustrations is that I'm not always connected to what I think my purpose here on the planet. And so I challenge God and I say, okay, fine. If you're not going to finance me, then show me what I'm supposed to do. I will.
God's not going to, I don't think from anything
Yeah,
I've
no.
read in the Bible. Yeah.
It works. It's actually
Sure.
a spiritual
Some
tactic.
kind of, yeah.
No, it works. I'm telling you. I got a call from the union saying that if you're available, sign up. And this was after a month of begging, praying, saying if you want me to be here on the planet, I need some sustenance. I
I
need some
agree.
financial support.
And you got it.
And I got it.
So amen.
So I'm just saying that, it's not that I don't pray, and it's not that it doesn't work most of the time. It's just sometimes it doesn't. And sometimes nothing goes right, and I feel like I'm not being listened to, and it's tough.
And you know what? I agree with you because I go to church every Sunday. I have all my friends are from my church, okay? I also, like you, cannot live by bread alone, all right? I'm not living in the desert for 40 days and 40 nights, and I still have to pay bills. And I pray to the point where I think even God has done a 180 and walked away from me at times because I don't think he's listening half the time.
Barbara, you're doing great still.
Yes.
You waited until she stopped talking, and
Gave your
you
observation.
communicated appropriately.
Yeah, I don't pray at all, and I'm and I'm rarely depressed. And I
but you-
just go out
but you
there
said-
and kick it in the ass and live
Excuse-
life, and
ex-
try to be as happy as I can be.
Excuse me, but a couple of sessions ago, you were almost in tears because you said, I don't know what my purpose here is for
Well,
sometimes.
she thought I needed
Okay?
a purpose. That's what
All
Molly said,
right,
which I
so
appreciated.
don't,
Possibly, but
don't
that doesn't
knock it
necessarily
till you
mean.
try
well,
it.
I'm not knocking. Well, I had tried it. I grew up that way. So I went on a mission. I was very into a church, but I now feel like there's something possibly, but not necessarily. And
I'm just wondering if faith makes it easier for people to get through circumstances, and I think
Not
that, I
all the
believe that it
time.
does.
Well, I'd like
Good, I
to
guess.
say, if I to clarify what I said about, I can appreciate what you're saying, and religion is one thing, but I'm just talking about energy. The universe obviously
Yeah,
works.
I believe
The
that.
Lakota Indians say, Wanganatunka, the great, whatever it is, we can't really define it. And religions have a place, churches have a place. If you don't go, that's fine. The important thing is to know that there is a greater force that's moving the whole
Right.
galaxy, the whole universe, the planet.
Sort of obvious.
Something's going on that
That's
makes a purpose. We don't understand.
Something.
We never have enough money, enough sex, enough love, enough attention, and so we get sad. We don't meet our own expectations or desire to
Completely.
realize ourselves as much. But if we just sort of relax with the faith that there is a greater purpose to this mystery called life, and we, as I say, I know I gather energy from holding a tree or just looking at the sky or the sunrise or sunset and feeling that I know there's something, whatever it is. And I'm not going to sit here and feel sorry for myself. And if I want to get more money, I can go get a job. If I want to get a girlfriend, I go find love.
It's not that
If I want,
That's
if I
right. You're in
want
control.
something, I can take control of
You're
it
in
because it's
control.
up to me
That's right.
to make
I
my world
completely-
work.
That's right.
But Frank, you know what?
Not
I
all
feel
getting it.
judged by the fact that I'm not allowed to not be happy and cheerful all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
Yeah.
No, you
never
can't be
have
happy
a
and
down
cheerful all
day.
the-
You know, you
Of
make it
course.
sound
Yeah,
like
down there.
it's.
Well, you
Everybody
sound like
has-
Mr. Rogers.
No, no, no.
And that's not
We're in the
way
wrong
it is.
What I'm
hood.
saying is
Everybody
that,
has a
you know,
down day.
I
where
love
it is-
Mr. Rogers. by the
No,
way.
but what I mean is the mind is a magnet. It attracts what it dwells upon. So if you
Look,
go
I have
into
been-
a
no, no,
negative
wait.
cycle, you're going to get
Not-
more
no,
depressed.
No, that's
That's
not
not
true.
true. That's right.
I come out because I was in a negative cycle for a month. I was praying the whole month, and at the end of it, as I said, the union called and said, "Are you available?" And I went back to work,
that's good.
and it cycled back up. I've been on positive cycles where I'll be at the pinnacle, and then the bottom will drop
That's
out.
right.
And so to me,
Life.
it's not as cut
Molly,
and dried as you
Molly,
say.
is
Well-
there a relationship, a one-to-one relationship between you get positive feedback about yourself and you feel okay about yourself?
No.
No. So it's a little mysterious then.
It's probably not as mysterious as it sounds. I mean,
Sounds like you're not busy enough.
Oh,
Why don't
she
you go
sounds really
volunteer in
busy.
Haiti or something, or
She
do
sounds-
something?
Oh my
Volunteer in
God.
Haiti.
That'll get rid of your depression.
She
2
sounds
weeks
That's
really
there.
not gonna
busy
get
to
rid
me.
of
I,
her
She's-
if
depression.
anything, I've got
She's
too
probably
much
too
to do,
busy.
and the fact that
She
I've got
sounds
too much
really-
to do makes me
could
depressed.
help.
It makes me difficult
Yeah.
to get anything done
She sounds
because
like
I
It's
got
a
too much to
difficult thing
do.
to understand.
Listen, you know what? People have a self-esteem tied to a job. I get up every morning and I live Groundhog Day every day, okay? I'm 54 years old, lying in bed. It's not like I'm not trying to find a job. I try to get positive.
Well,
I
they
have-
need volunteers in Haiti
I
right
don't-
now.
I don't
Why don't
need-
you get on a boat and
because
go?
I
You got all
have
this
things I have to
time.
do in the United States enough. I have things to take care of here. One of them is getting a job so I can pay my bills. Volunteering and becoming homeless, I can live in
Well,
Haiti.
they'll
I don't
pay-
have to come back
So,
here.
They'll pay your
Um,
department.
I'm wondering
While
if
you're away.
Carol's having anything that she wants to say in this group session.
Well, I was wondering if you're okay. Because
Yeah,
I
I'm
feel
okay.
like you've been kind of, in people's face. Like, go to Haiti.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound very nice.
It's not.
Well,
I mean, it's not.
I mean, we all care so much about the Haitians and everything. I know.
You really meant that when you said, "Are you okay?"
Yes.
You are really a compassionate person, because you thought that the fact that she was aggressive toward Carol when she said go to Haiti, you were compassionate toward her.
Yes, because you've never spoken to me like you did today. You've never spoken, I mean, you don't normally tell people, you're not as confrontive. You're
Right.
more nurturing. And I just wondered if there's something going on today.
No.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
I think she's very
Thank you for asking.
confrontational, because to say to somebody, oh, leave your country and you'll feel better.
No, I'm saying that was confrontational.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like,
So
That's not gonna work.
I don't think we've heard from Adrian in this group.
You have. I don't know. I feel that there's a lot of defense coming. Okay. I don't know. That's how I feel. I'm not saying that there is. If there isn't, there isn't. Belief are very defensive. You don't want to take. I guess you're stuck in your ways. You believe what you believe, and you're not being open-minded.
I agree with that. Definitely.
I think you're doing a great job. Barbara.
Thank you.
I think you find other ways to handle your like become figurative a little bit and try to repress it, but I see you working on it. It's a great job.
So this was an interesting group to me because the whole beginning of it, for like the first 20 minutes, was so theoretical. You know, we were kind of having a discussion, an intellectual discussion, and so I was wondering
I was
when
getting emotional with it.
you were,
Oh, yes.
but we were still having an intellectual conversation
It was
about,
intellectual, but still, it
about
was
your-
emotional for me.
yeah.
And I'll make the emotional connection that, well, at least it's partly there, and usually it's there. You're making me wrong.
I am.
Believe what I say. When I say you, I don't mean you right now. I mean the other people I was speaking to, which was over that side.
Me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Molly and I were telling you that we disagree with how you're putting this idea together.
It was somewhere like you're making me wrong, or
Mm-hmm.
an insistence that you take what I say, believe what I say. That was
Yes.
like a root primitive feeling.
I
that
plead
had.
guilty. Yes.
Well, I
I'm-
plead guilty too.
I'm happy that you had that reaction,
I'm sorry. What reaction?
that you understood that Molly and I were kind of skewering you.
And wasn't I guilty of the same somewhat? I was trying to
Yes.
get you to stand still,
Yes.
take it,
You were
believe it.
Yes, you were trying to skewer us back.
I'm exhausted.
Like debate.
Carol, I just wanted to let you know, like, when I say something like that, we'll go to Haiti, I mean it. I probably may, like you said, didn't come across. I'm more, like you said before, reacting, unloading rather than processing. So
Yeah.
I'm probably,
Yeah.
yeah, so
Reacting-
just step back from that.
Reacting is discharge. It's a
Right,
method of discharge, which
as
is
opposed to just saying,
what Walter's
you know,
talking about.
It's nice that you have a life and you have a lot of time on your hands to be depressed. Maybe
I don't know if having
Not-
time on
no.
my hands
No,
makes
she's
me.
Well,
talking
that's what I was
about
thinking.
I
And
know, but it's
Right.
like,
that's what, because depression, don't forget, if you don't have it, is a very difficult thing for other people to understand.
1 in 6 people.
And it
have
can be very
Barbara.
frustrating too, and I just think that
anyway.
So,
it's-
guys-
it's a luxury.
We need to stop. Thank you.
I'm depressed
you.
now.
The
just-
neurological connections.
We're not needed in Haiti. There's there's starvation and chaos there.
Yeah.
And there's 40,000
Yeah,
homeless
here.
people
We
in
done?
the
New
city.
York
right
City,
here in
and
New
I'm
York.
one of them almost.
You want to go
Well, homelessness
give someone a
is
sandwich?
homelessness is an economic, it's a business. That's why we have to keep it.
Thank you, Paula.
Well, that would lower
Thank you,
your
guys.
self-esteem. Big
Two-
shit.